Your wanton aggression leaves us no choice. Prepare for war.
Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I just want to welcome you to Mord Reports, the ninth Mord Reports. We have a couple of things to talk about. It has been, I think it's actually been more than a month since we did the last one. Right, so what's happening? Viking Conquest is probably going to go on a hiatus, and the reason for that is because we are in for an extremely busy month, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Which is unfortunate because we did just release the extremely popular Prophecy of Pendor showcase, which is probably my best performing video ever. I mean, it hit more than 500 views in the first day, and I think it even hit 600 on day one, which is mental. Usually I get like 40 or 50, and it's at 1,000, I think, or maybe just under. After 3 days, 4 days. So yeah, that video has done mentally well. So I'd really like to continue with the Mountain Blade content. I just can't at the moment because my schedule is so full. I basically made a little promise to myself that I wouldn't ever go over 5 videos a day. Although actually tomorrow there's probably going to be 6, even without Viking Conquest. It'll be 7 with, and that's just too many. So I'm afraid something had to give, and it will be Viking Conquest. It might be a temporary hiatus. I really hope that it is, because I would like to revisit it in the future. Kind of depends on whether Bannerlord comes out and whether things calm down in the lead up to Christmas, which is somewhat doubtful because there's a pretty chaotic catalogue of strategy games coming out very, very soon. So we'll see. Hopefully temporary hiatus, but anyway, it is being put on hold for the meantime. Rimworld, series I'm absolutely loving. I really, really like Rimworld. It's such a good game, actually. The first couple of attempts were a little bit abortive, but I was still kind of finding my feet, trying to get my way in. And then it was actually the mod, the technology mod, which kind of made this game for me, in that fact that you can start at really no technology and then work your way up, and as you advance, your tech level also advances, so it's not impossible to reach the latter techs, having started from nothing. I really like that. I really enjoy that sense of progression. So Rimworld series is all good. We'll be continuing that probably until we get wiped out, though then that will probably be the last series for a while, again because we're going to be busy. But the streams will definitely continue to be Rimworld for the foreseeable future, although actually looking at the schedule that might only last a week or two. But still, definitely Rimworld all over that game. I'm absolutely loving it. And it's the one game where a lot of people have actually come to me saying, hey, Mordred, I've actually started, I bought Rimworld because of your videos, and it's the first series that's really done that, and that's really nice to see, actually. So yeah, Rimworld, good. I'm enjoying it. We'll be continuing for the foreseeable future, and then I might need to move it to make space. It kind of depends on how long we last. Yeah, so there's that. The next one is Hearts of Iron 4. That's the Italy game. That is going surprisingly well. It's not going in at all the direction I was expecting. I was expecting lots of Mediterranean wars, expecting to be engaging France and Britain at sea. That hasn't happened thanks to the Soviet Union declaring war on us. So this early war against the Soviets has been kind of nail-biting because they outnumber us like 4-1. But it's kind of fascinating, and I've tried a few different strategies in that, using Alpine troops rather than regular divisions, for the most part. So yeah, that is really good. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, good. So, Crusader Kings, that was the other one. Crusader Kings II. This has actually been kind of a sleeper hit. I started this series because things were a bit quiet on the channel for a time. But it's currently my most popular series. Yeah, it is. And it's probably because it's been something of a roller coaster. Things keep on going wrong, and I'm not used to that in Crusader Kings. I mean, there are usually setbacks, but I remember previous playthroughs, I basically had to hold myself back from expanding too much, just because it was a little bit easy. That has not been the case at all, probably because of all the chaos that's been going on in Sweden, or Svitjod, because we haven't been able to reform the religion, and it's early 900s now, and it's getting a little desperate, honestly. So we're having to do all kinds of completely out of the box thinking on just how to get there. I think we will, but it's going to leave us in something of an interesting position. Then I'm a little concerned it's going to be easy mode again, so I might abandon Svitjod after that and just kind of set out on my own. expanding into Russia, which was the next objective to get Novgorod and Kiev. But we are about 100 years behind where I was expecting to be at this stage, mostly because the religion just hasn't converted, and there's no point doing anything else until the religion is converted to the Reformed Norse faith, because without it you can't actually convert anything, and then going anywhere that isn't already Norse is pointless. So yeah, really enjoying that. We're definitely going to be moving that into EU4 as and when that completes, but it's a long-term project. That is a mega campaign. It's just going to be kind of ticking along, but like I said, it's been a sleeper hit. I was not expecting it to be as popular as it has been. It's brilliant. Speaking of popular series, unfortunately one series lasted about 3 days before I took it down because just no one was watching it, and that was Deus Ex. Like, usually the Total War games have held the record previously for least popular series, which was disappointing because I thought Total War would actually do really well on this channel because it's strategy, but it doesn't. And then Deus Ex was a RPG shooter. It was kind of an experiment to see whether it would take off, and it really didn't. I mean, partially because it was oversaturated on other channels, I understand that. But yeah, Deus Ex didn't last very long, and then we switched. And that was actually when Crusader Kings II started, had to take its place. We've also been doing a couple of other smaller games on the side, Ruse being the standout example here. And that went really good. A lot of people seem to enjoy that, and it got quite a few views. So I very much hope to be able to continue doing like these shorter groups of games in the future. So we had Ruse, we did a bit of ARMA, that was a lot of fun. 7 Days to Die is another one that's just had another update, so that's something we may well revisit. But these are usually games I will use during the quieter times, and October is anything but quiet. So yeah, what are we talking about in October? Well, there's one new game, 2 expansions, and 1 new series outside of those coming. So talk about the series. Hearts of Iron 4, I've actually got my first collaborative effort with Uldrahill, who is another YouTuber, coming up, so we will be doing that, and that is really cool because it means that you'll be able to see the game from both of our perspectives. We've got a kind of interesting idea going on as well. I don't want to talk too much about it because that will spoil it for the video itself. That should actually be up tomorrow. So yeah, that game with Uldrahill, and you should definitely check out his channel. Shall I link it here? I'll link it in the Uldrahill video. That will make the most sense. So I hope that you'll watch that and enjoy it. So what else is coming up? Well, Europa Universalis, obviously, there is a new expansion coming out today, and that was part of the reason I did this video. In that, Rights of Man is coming out, and that really completely overhauls technology, like completely changes it, and also adds a few new things. The biggest change to a single country is probably Prussia, in that it has its own government now, and it functions more like the Prussia that you would expect, in having a massively strong army and a kind of a small nation, and it kind of emphasizes building tall rather than wide, which is different from most EU4 setups, except maybe the Merchant Republics, and it really didn't work with the Merchant Republics. So I hope that's not the case with Prussia, because secretly Prussia is kind of my favorite nation. I love playing as Prussia and that. So unfortunately, like probably every man and his dog, I will be playing a Prussia game, single player. But I do have a few ideas on how to enhance that, make it a bit different, make it stand out a little bit, and I hope it will be enjoyable. So we'll be playing as Brandenburg to start with, and then switching to Prussia after that. And apparently there are new events and things as well, so that should be rather more flavourful. That'll be cool. The other EU4 series, and this is the one that has been particularly long awaited, is the Return of the Titans. We do have an idea in mind. It's actually going to be requiring a mod, and I've been experimenting with the modding stuff today, and I think I can do everything that I want to do. I will need to convert it again as soon as the expansion comes out, which is in a couple of hours, I believe. But that should be no problem. So yes, new Clash of the Titans game coming out. Well, it's not a Clash game, it's a Titan game. And I will be joined for that by Bussy and Isuel once again. So if you're looking out for that, that is coming, and that will be out tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, that one will be out, because I actually need to sit down and record it with the guys. So that's EU4. The next game with an expansion coming out is actually Stellaris. Now, because of other things happening, I probably won't immediately be able to do a Stellaris series. Stellaris has kind of sat in an interesting position. It's a different game for Paradox, but it hasn't been as popular, viewing-wise. I would like to revisit it, especially the 8-player multiplayer game was actually quite fascinating, and at the time it didn't get very many views, but it's one of those games that just keeps on ticking along, and it's actually got a surprising amount of popularity now, kind of just hidden in the background, but it didn't happen when the game itself, when we were recording it. which is kind of interesting. So it's definitely a game I want to revisit. Leviathan is a story pack rather than a full expansion for features, which adds new content. I don't really know precisely what, but that is something that we'll need to check out. Plus, there is a pretty heavy patch called Heinlein, which does change quite a lot of stuff, but that is something that we would need to actually visit in a video or a series about Stellaris. That's an idea. I might just do a video outlining that rather than in a whole series. That'd probably work better. But that's out on the 20th of October. Very cool. Probably won't be immediate. I probably won't do content on it immediately, except maybe that video. I'll make a note of that. But hopefully I'll have a chance to do a series in the future. Now, the reason that so many of these things are kind of being jogged around is because on the 21st of October, something of a Goliath is released, and that is, of course, Civilization VI. I'm a huge fan of the whole Civilization series. I've actually played them all, including the original one. And Civ 5, when it was released, wasn't that great, but it was the expansions that made it good. And the guys behind Civ 6 are the guys who made the expansion, so I've actually got really quite high hopes for this. I've watched a couple of gameplay videos, I've been watching their previews and everything like that, and it does look really, really good, actually. So definitely going to be playing that at release when it comes out on the 21st of October, and quite possibly streaming it as well. Rimworld, watch out. I might also switch to 2 streams. In fact, that would be a good time to do that. This is something I've been thinking about for a while. It kind of depends on how much time I can really give to this. We'll see. So yeah, Civ 6, very exciting. Don't yet know who I'm going to play as. I'll decide that a little bit closer to the time because they are still releasing new factions. Yeah. It's all good. So, Viking Conquest, unfortunately going on hiatus. That's just a bit of a recap. Rimworld going well. Probably will stop if we get wiped, but we'll see. And the Rimworld streams will definitely continue. Hearts of Iron 4, Italy, all good. Enjoying that. Series of Aldra Hill coming up tomorrow. I do hope that you check that one out. Europa Universalis IV expansion coming out today, and that will lead to a Prussia game, which will be out today, and the Return of the Titans, which will be out tomorrow. Some of you are going to be so annoyed that I'm still not telling you what we're doing for that. You'll just have to wait and see. Crusader Kings II, really enjoying that game. It's been the sleeper hit. It's very surprised by its popularity, but happy as well, because it is a very good and worthy game. So yeah, Crusader Kings, no problem. Stellaris, probably do a standalone video to explain the changes. Possibly a series in the future, kind of depends how busy we are with other things. And then of course, Civilization 6 being the big one coming up later in the month, although that's only actually 10 days away. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I don't really say this enough, but seriously, you guys are what make this channel work, and this is what makes it all happen, and it's growing at a really nice pace at the moment. Like, I was not expecting to hit 1,000 subs yet. I was kind of hoping that would be roughly a year on, and the channel started, technically I think it was the 27th of December, but really it was January when things really started happening, because that was the release of the Prophecy of Pendor stuff. So January, so we're about 2 months ahead of where I expected to be sub-wise, which is fantastic, and I really do hope that the channel continues to grow at the rate it is. So thank you all for your support. If you are enjoying it, then please do share it with your friend, you know, talk about it, invite new people to come, you know, expand the community that we have going here. And the community really is fantastic. I mean, you guys are so nice. I don't think I've had to delete a single negative comment. Well, I wouldn't delete negative comments anyway, but just like the trolling and flaming stuff. I've not had to do any of that. And for YouTube, that is rare. Like, we have such a nice group of people watching and interacting on these videos, so thank you so much for making that possible. And I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.